We have to know about the 9 classical muses, daughters of Zeus, Zeus, the Greek god of gods, Zeus. So he had 9 daughters, and these daughters are known as the classical muses, and you should know at least the names of 4 or 5 of them, of these 9. That is one thing. So let us look at these 9 muses. In literature, there are, you have epic poetry, you have tragedy, you have comedy, you have lyric poetry. And so you have a muse for each of these. Then you have music, you have dance, you have astronomy, you have history. So there are muses for these. So when we look at these 9 classical muses, we look at Calliope, the muse of epic poetry. Calliope, 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 muse of epic poetry. Then next, Erato, 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 muse of lyric poetry. Erato, lyric poetry. You should know these. Then we have Melpomene, 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 muse of tragic poetry. Tragic poetry, Melpomene. Then you have Thalia, Thalia, the muse of comedy and idyllic poetry. Comedy and idyllic poetry pertaining to rural life, pastoral life, idyllic poetry and comedy, that is Thalia. Number 5, you have Urania, and Urania is important because she appears in several of the literary texts that we know of very commonly. For instance, she appears in Shelley's Adonais as Keats's mother, the mother of Adonais, who is now dead. So Adonais is a pastoral elegy by Shelley, and in that Urania appears as the mother of the dead poet Keats. Then Urania also appears a lot in Paradise Lost of Milton. So you need to know these 5 muses at least, and of course there are others. You have Terpis Chori or Terpis Chori, and this is the muse of dance and chorus. Terpischore, the muse of dance and chorus. This is the 6th. Then you have Clio, Clio, muse of history. Clio, muse of history. This is the 7th muse. Then you have Euterpe, Euterpe, muse of music. Euterpe, muse of music. Then you have Polyhymnia, Poly, Poly, Hymnia, Hymnia, muse of sacred poetry. So these are the 9 classical muses. Now there's something very interesting related to this. It is said that Plato, the Greek philosopher, referred to the lyric poetess Sappho of the island of Lesbos as the 10th muse. But nobody actually knows whether he referred to her as the 10th muse or not. But in the dialogue called Phaedrus, Phaedrus, he does use high words of praise for Sappho. So this was about the 10th muse. It is said that he called her the 10th muse. Whether he actually called her or not, it's not appearing in text anywhere. But the high words of praise that have been used for Sappho, maybe that is what has given rise to the idea that he considered her the 10th muse, in which case what it would mean is that he considered her to be an exceptionally talented poet. And so sometimes this phrase 10th muse, these are only discussions. It doesn't appear anywhere, in an authentic way. But yes, the phrase 10th muse, probably Plato meant it for exceptional women poets. So that is the 10th muse. And in recent times, an American novelist called Catherine Chung has written the novel The 10th Muse. The 10th Muse, Catherine Chung.